Okay, so I will give some verbal adjudication for the grand final of National University Debating Competition 2024. With the motion, this House believes that Indonesia should significantly tax residential properties that are left vacant or unoccupied. They are opening government from Universitas Surabaya and opening opposition from Universitas Kristen Indonesia and closing government from Universitas Katolik Atmajaya and closing opposition we have Universitas Brawijaya. So I will give the verbal adjudication first for Prime Minister. For the Prime Minister, they focus on Indonesia as the developing country with its impact to the community in their income to rent the house, especially for underage people. They set up the government case clearly and defined the motion started by status quo in Indonesia. They said that the property will sell when the market value is high. Meanwhile, the capital will get if the property rent out. As the solution, we can help the country or public development by help the people by renting house with the fair price. They also give the argument logically but occasionally with the predictable reasoning. The Prime Minister not directly answered the POI of the leader of opposition. They could have better emphasized why their argument are strong. For the argument generally smooth delivery with minor hesitation and maintain decent eye contact and gesture. But overall, the argument some like deep. Then for the second is leader of opposition. They started the argument by refuting the government argument and said that the tax resident is immoral to do in that case based on the society or belief in Indonesia. They state that about 1900 Indonesia is migrant, so some property get get taxed even though no one living in them. And then for the time management, the leader of opposition is over explaining to the minor point. They did not clearly define opposition stance. They more likely to refute the opening government. And then for the next is deputy prime minister. They focus on price is not important things in the case. They stated by rebuting the opening opposition. In the first day speak, he makes some mistake, so it affects to the first impression of his manner to the debate station, and then he should pay attention for the rule of the debate station. He extended prime minister's case with new argument about job creation and recycling. They also repeat the prime minister point even more. The argument more deep, but sometimes overlooks to leader of opposition rebuttal. The deputy prime minister give a smooth transitivity, but is less charismatic, less charismatic than the prime minister. They too. The deputy prime minister also too often to reject the POI uh, and mostly read the text for the argument. But they also give the evidence and then some solution in the end of the speech. And then for the deputy leader of opposition, they started by rebuting into the government side by said that solution is better to add tax for the developer or the tax for the billionaire. They also rebuilt the leader of opposition case after and then after that to the deputy prime minister's attack. They also introduced new angels and give some evidence that cited from WWF study. And then they also targeted DBM's extension but stayed from core class. And then he also highlight the contradiction in government case. It directly challenged to the adjudicator. He repealed LO's case and introduced new material. The DLO exposed inconsistencies between Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister, but in their he speak fluently. For the member of government, they show the meta-analysis of rich or poor dynamic. So they highlighted investment trade in urban properties as the evidence, and then they rebuttal they ignore weak opposition arguments strategically. You can't feed this big police but technical. They only focus on peaceful government intervention, and in the end, they summarize clash and introduce new alternative as the solution. For the member of opposition, they focus on economic disparity and market equilibrium. They also give evidence cited in urbanization trend and weak stagnation. They speak clear but monotone and emphasize harm to migrant worker and use poses for emphasis. They also give pure rebuttal without any new content. They expose gaps in closing government's likelihood analysis. For the for the government whip, they focus on framing tax as moral responsibility of the rich. They just repeated a member of government's point without new data, and then give minimal rebuttal focused on crystallizing government government win. They also speak concise, use persuasive closing tone. For the opposition whip, they focus on gentrification and market retaliation. It's linked tax policy to rising urban or suburban prices as the evidence and rebuilding by destroyed closing government's weighing with market dynamic. For the team ranking, the first place is closing opposition from the Universitas Brawijaya. For the second is opening government from Universitas Surabaya. For the third place is closing government from Universitas Katolik Atmajaya. And for the fourth place is opening a position for Universitas Kristen Indonesia. That's all my verbal adjudication. Thank you.